Hello and welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about my collapsible board that just arrived. This was a year-long process of designing it and ordering it and everything. I'm going to break down how I found the company that designed it, all the steps I went through, and then how much it cost. And then I'm also going to be doing an unboxing video of the board when it came. I was so happy. To start it off, why I got a collapsible surfboard. So I travel, or at the time when I ordered it in October 2024, when I started the ordering process, I was working a job that required a lot of international travel, some domestic travel as well, and then I just travel on my own or with my husband for personal travel at least once or twice a year, or at least at the time we did. And I was set to go to the North African country of Algeria with my old job last fall. I ended up quitting before then and getting a new job. But there is actually surf in Algeria in the winter and everything. North Africa does have some in the Mediterranean. It's not that great, but they do have a surfing culture in Algeria, in northern Algeria specifically. People own their own boards there, and I was looking around for a surf shop that I could rent from, because I did that in Hong Kong and I've done that in a bunch of other countries that I've traveled to. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any surf shops. I'm sure that's no surprise to most people in Algeria, anywhere. So I was thinking about, bringing my own board, checking my own board. But typically my work doesn't really like, we get picked up together, we have our luggage and stuff, and they don't want like an 8-foot board, because that's all I can ride. Like, they don't want to have to pay for an extra taxi or whatever to pick it up. So I was like, well, maybe I could saw like, an old foam board, soft top board in half, and like, I don't know, put like rebar through it or something crazy, or like duct tape it, and I don't know. Obviously that would not have worked. And I'm just looking at collapsible boards. I could not find any. I saw like a company that used to make them years ago and went out of business. And I was just Googling and came across this article. I think it was from just some sort of surf magazine. And they were talking about this company called No Talks in France that makes collapsible surfboards. And it didn't sound like they'd made too many. So I contacted them and we started the process from there. So I decided what type of board I wanted. I wanted an 8-foot board. And they were gonna put cork and fiberglass, kind of mix it up. They went over fins and everything like that, what type of board bag I wanted. So this is just a bisected surfboard, meaning cut down the middle. They also make trisected surfboards, but it's $1,000 more, so keep that in mind. So we went through this process, and then a short time later, we did a WhatsApp video call where they showed me an example of a board they had. So I was super excited, and they told me, okay, it's gonna be a 12-week process. I said, great. I'll actually be in the UK for a surf school at the end of January, early February, so I will just hop on over from the UK to France. Not as easy as us Americans think it is, but I was like, I can just, fly over, take the, take the train over from London and, come pick up the board and fly home with it. And I was planning on surfing in France and Spain with it, because the location of the surf shop that makes these boards, the surf company, is in Biarritz, France. I'm sure I'm butchering that, but it's right on the border with Spain, so you can just take the train into Spain. So I was like, sweet, I'll knock off another couple countries on my surf list. So they said, we'll contact you when it's ready. So we're about halfway through January. I'm getting ready to go on my surf trip to the UK and do the surf school, the Women in Wave Surf School. I'll link those videos down below and their website. Great surf school. Anyway, I hadn't heard anything from the company, so I emailed them. And they're like, oh yeah, it's not gonna be ready by then. We're waiting on some marine grade steel and everything for the board, because the way the board fits together. So I was pretty bummed, but I was like, all right. And they said, oh, hey, come down to the shop. You can take a look at the board, go surfing, rent boards from us, go surfing. I ended up nixing that part of the trip because it just, there were some mishaps on my train ride from the UK, while in the UK. Didn't end up going down, so I let them know, hey, I'm not gonna come, but just let me know when you ship it. A week after I returned from my trip to the UK, I lost my job unexpectedly, got doged. It was a whole thing. Obviously, I was just like, I'm not gonna worry about the board right now. Applying for jobs and interviewing for jobs like crazy. And luckily I got a job about a week after that, but I wasn't sure how stable that job was going to be. So I was like, I need to save up some money, X amount of money, before I even talk about shipping the board over. So I had paid a $600 deposit in the fall, which we were required to pay before they started work on the board, and I did a wire transfer. And so I was like, I am not in the financial position or job security position to do this. I'm just gonna wait until they contact me. Maybe it'll be like another month. I can save up some more money, because obviously my finances took a hit because I didn't start working until like a month after I lost my old job. Yeah, I waited a couple more months. I waited a few more months. I believe it was 3 months. Yeah, so I contacted them in May because I hadn't heard anything, and I'm like, hey, I'm just checking in on the status of my board. And they had clearly completely forgotten about my order, which I don't know how you do that when you make surfboards and stuff, but they sent me some photos, and I think we did another WhatsApp video call and everything, and showed me what they were doing. And they're like, oh, we're waiting on this and that. And then I decided to check back in within it was a month later. Yeah, a month later, waited a month, and they're like, oh, we're waiting on your custom board bag and all this stuff. And I'm like, custom board bag? Did I order a custom board bag? Around that time, unfortunately, my father-in-law passed away. He was a huge fan of my crappy surfing, but anyway, he always used to watch my YouTube videos, and he was very concerned about sharks eating me and stuff. But anyway, so I kind of stepped back a little bit because we were dealing with a lot as a family and everything, and it was very unexpected. About a month after he passed, I contacted them again. I'm like, hey, what's up? And they're like, oh, we're waiting on this and that. I'm like, and then like a week after that, I contacted them again. Status, update, board. They said, oh, okay, it'll be ready to ship by the end of the week. I said, okay, please send me the tracking number and information, and also can you send me your bank information so I can send the rest of the money. This whole time I was like, am I getting scammed? But I didn't think I was, because I went directly to their website when I had ordered the board and everything, and it is a legit company. I was just a little bit worried because I was constantly having to reach out to them instead of them reaching out to me. And then in August last month, I was like, hey, I'm going on a surf trip soon. I would really like this board. Where can I send your money? They're like, okay, we're shipping it. We'll send you the tracking number when it ships. Yeah, I highly doubt that, and I was right. But a few days later, I got an email from DHL and then a text with the tracking number. And then it shipped very quickly out of Biarritz, France, to the US, came to New York to customs, and I get a text from DHL. It looked like spam, but I hovered over it with my finger and stuff, and it did come up as a legit website. And they're like, hey, you have to pay the tariffs. So a tariff of $300 because it's a shipment coming from the EU. I did not vote for these tariffs. I did not want them. It is what it is. I was like, I just want my surfboard at this point, because the text said, we're gonna send this thing back if you don't pay within 5 days. I'm like, oh crap. So I'm like, I can't remember where I was. I was somewhere with not very great reception, and I was like, oh my gosh. I was like trying to go around and get a signal and stuff. I'm like, I'm paying this right now. Give me my surfboard. And then it came to my house like a couple days later, and so that was pretty cool. Yeah, I was just so relieved that it got there. Of course, the company never touched base with me to give me the tracking number. They never even checked to see if the board had arrived. So great customer service. Actually, the guy I dealt with was really nice. I don't know what the deal was. Somebody told me that's just French customer service, but I don't know. Okay, so cost. This was not cheap. I'll preface this by saying I'm not a rich person, but I choose to focus any extra money on surfing and traveling and, you know, sometimes paddleboarding and stuff like that, other water sports. Those are things I really enjoy. I drive a 15-year-old car, and 80% of my clothes are thrifted. Live in a small house. We don't have any kids, so we're dinks. I did get some back pay from my old job, so I used that to pay for the new surfboard. Of course, I did make sure I had enough for like an emergency fund for just in general for my finances and stuff in case I got laid off again. So the initial deposit, the whole breakdown of the cost and everything, including the stupid tariffs, I'm so mad I had to pay that because I ordered it a year ago before all this kicked off. So I had to pay a $600 deposit when I initially ordered this thing, and then I had to pay $1,700 and some change right before they shipped it. So it was a total of It was almost $1,800. $2,400 for the surfboard. And then with the tariffs, that was $300. $2,600, $2,700. And I did get my board bag for free because they messed up the first one. They gave me another one that was slightly bigger, so it's extra not cheap. And it was definitely something I thought about for a while, and I really wanted to get this board because it would really serve my lifestyle for travel and things like that. I mean, I can't always have a roof rack on my car. I'd really like to just be able to check a surfboard and fly with it and just take it wherever I want, because a lot of these places that I go don't have, you know, surf shops, rental shops. I'm gonna be doing some road trips soon, hopefully over this fall and winter, and I don't want to have to worry about, okay, I've got like an hour or 4 hours to use this board, return it, all that stuff, have to worry about damage. I can just have my own board, and I really think it'll be worth the cost. I hope to have it forever. Hopefully I don't snap it on my first time out. I'm also trying to plan a trip up to Canada next year, going up to Nova Scotia and maybe Newfoundland. And yeah, I mean, Nova Scotia has surf rentals, but I'm planning on, you know, driving and stuff, so wouldn't work out to rent a board. And yeah, just some of these far-flung places that I used to go with my old job. Might go back to that job someday, who knows? We did some pretty great international travel. Got to go to Vietnam, Thailand, Hong Kong, Alabama, you know, so exotic. But yeah, obviously this board isn't gonna be right for everyone. You know, some people can just check a board. I can't, like, people check 6-foot boards and stuff like that. I can't ride a 6-foot board. I'm not very good. I'm still a beginner. I'm a beginner progressor, like beginner plus. I can turn and ride down the wave and stuff like that. Yeah, I need an 8-foot board, at a minimum 7.2. I can barely ride my 7.2 mid-length board right now. It's just something I needed, and I'm really looking forward to taking it on road trips and different travel around the world. I will be doing a video testing out the board. Not sure when that's gonna be. I'm pretty booked up on the weekends right now for different things. I'm in grad school and stuff, as well as working full time, so not a lot of free time, but I'm hoping to get that out within the next month or so. I'll just test it out on little waves and see how it goes. I also discovered several days ago an inflatable surfboard on Facebook Marketplace, and of course I had to get it. It's by Body Glove. Obviously I'm not going to be ripping on this thing, not that I do normally anyway, but I was like, man, this would have been great to take traveling as well if you're just catching, you know, little whitewater waves. So I'm going to be testing that out as well, but that'll be a separate video. Stay tuned for that, and if you have any questions, let me know down below in the comment section. I will link the company down below, but just beware. The whole process was very aggravating for making a purchase. I mean, it took nearly a year to arrive. It took me far less time to buy my house and far less aggravation as well. And look out for those future videos of traveling with my collapsible surfboard.
Oh, what the f is that?
It's not for you, sorry.
What is it?
But it's my surfboard that I ordered a year ago.
From France?
Yeah.
He thinks there's something good in here. Careful. No! Oh. It's thick. Careful. Watch your little paws.
What are you gonna bark at? Why? Was it just fold in half?
Yeah.
Well, how does it get rigid though? Like how does it not snap in half on the water?
I'll show you. It's not too bad. Loosen the straps.
Ooh, Simpo, what is it? Ash, get out of the way, dude. Up in there. All right, this is gonna be more than just.
Lightweight too. Okay. Love it.
Botox.
No, no. This one just slides in.
Do you have to like screw it together or something?
Yeah. Watch out,
Does
no,
it oh, it came with like a screw kit. Thing.
Yeah, and
Ash has got it.
so it's an 8-footer.
Oh. Tip it toward me. Hang on.
All right, merci. Some screws.
That screws in right here.
Some fins. These are expensive usually. I know because I just busted one off in the wave pool in Virginia Beach on my other surfboard. Jump up. Okay, so it's pretty lightweight. Like it. Do you want to surf on this? Yeah, it's super, super lightweight. I really like that this has traction pads too. I really need that. And then it has 4 screw holes. So I'm going to put these screws in. It came with these screws. So I got these collapsible sawhorse from Home Depot. They're by the brand Stanley. And I'm going to use them to prop the surfboard up and kind of screw it together. I cut a pool noodle in half and put it on the top just to protect the fiberglass board and everything. I will probably bring this to the beach, but I don't know. I obviously can't bring these when I travel, so I'm going to have to figure something out. I was thinking about putting maybe a tarp down on the beach so that way sand doesn't get into the screw holes on the board. So I didn't realize that the camera wasn't catching this, sorry. But you basically just slide the top of the board into the top metal piece on the bottom board. It just slides in. So I just did this on the grass. But you'd want to put a towel down or something, tarp, yoga mat, something really soft. But it should slide together really easily. You do want to make sure that everything is clean. So I did buy a kind of like hose, battery powered hose with a little tank that's supposed to be pretty powerful, and that way I can rinse everything off really good after I go in the water and get all the sand out and everything. So the board came with some screws and a wrench. So it came with 10 screws. You need 4 for the top of the board and then 4 for the bottom of the board, and then plus a couple extra in case you lose some. So after unscrewing the board, I just slide it apart. Kind of have to wiggle it a little bit, but there's no latch or button or anything to press. The bag is not that roomy, which is good, but I definitely will put in some bubble wrap and maybe slice apart a few more pool toys and put them along the edge of my surfboard and everything if I travel via airline with the board. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, please comment below.